and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing this morning? What a day we have in store for you. Oh, it's going to be an interesting one. It's the 5th. So, today, I hope that y'all are having a good one. Good morning, Tinkerloo. Do you know how hard it is to hold back a cough? Good morning, I'm just me, Julie Lucer. Good morning, Simply Me, Connie, Teresa Short, Cynthia Nolia. How you doing? How you doing? I'm just me, Return of the 5th. It is. Bam Sheets yesterday was May the 4th be with you. It's so good to see you, Zach. How you doing? Good morning. Oh, yes, Gil Dozard. Good morning, Shizzy in chat. Yes, most definitely. What do we have for you this morning? Well, how to win the PR war on tariffs. Like, you need a PR war on tariffs. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal. That means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple. Can't get any simpler than that. Donald Trump's very first mention of tariffs on May the 2nd, Liberation Day event. That was an honest lead, but it wasn't optimal PR. There are zillions of truthful, accurate, interesting facts about tariffs. It's a complex subject that's intertwined with global trade, international diplomacy, geography, history, and economic policy. Textbooks, and certainly have, been written about it. You can yak about it 24/7 for a decade and still find something new to say when it comes to tariffs and PR. There's an embarrassment of riches. I know that sounds like a good thing, but it's actually a problem. Experts in highly skilled fields, engineers, medical, tech, are often difficult to train for media appearances because they know so damn much. For example, if a doctor's representing a hospital during a news segment, he's asked about a new procedure they're offering, he'll instinctively want to share all of the info he's most excited about: the new research, the new clinical studies, the new data, the new equipment, and the new theories. To a doctor, that stuff is incredibly important and medically relevant too. And he's right. But the guy sitting at home just wants to know if it'll make him feel better. Truth and tactics are different. Let's get back to tariffs. More often than not, the standard MAGA answer for why is twofold. Liberation Day was necessary because other countries are ripping us off, and because what they've been doing to us is so unfair. Well, fairness is almost accentuated. Even the name reflects it, the fair and reciprocal plan on trade. In fact, that was the very first bullet point listed under the announcement. The fair and reciprocal plan will seek to correct longstanding imbalances on international trade and ensure fairness across the board. Well, fairness. Miami, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you, Miami. Teresa Short, it's a nice way to start your week. You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till I get naked. But fairness is nice. Most people would support that, but fairness to whom? The guy sitting at home doesn't associate himself with global trade. He's indifferent to Walmart's stock price. For him, tariffs are connected to higher prices. After all, that's the story being trumpeted by the media from Fox News, Gallup, CNN, CNBC, ABC News, Fortune, The Hill, Yahoo News, CBS News, NBC, Political, Reuters, Newsweek. Tariffs are about fairness, and the way it's currently being positioned, it sounds like a hell of a lot fairer for those big corporations than the guy at home, because he's the one who's got to pay more. Those rich guys don't seem to be suffering. Asking Joe Sixpack to sacrifice so Walmart, Apple, Google, and Boeing can claim a bigger piece of the pie is a pretty big ask. Other countries' tariffs have been grossly unfair and decidedly unreciprocal, and that's a true statement. Even the media doofuses who call Trump a liar at the drop of a red hat are usually taking his word on tariffs. Trump really, truly believes that other countries were unfairly ripping us off. It's not a put on. Nobody's doubting the sincerity of his convictions, but for PR purposes, we need to recalibrate the trajectory of who is being ripped off. We don't want our audience to think about Walmarts, Apples, and Boeings of the world. We want them to think about themselves. If the American people personalize this issue, i.e., if they identify with the struggle, the MAGA will win the political war over tariffs. And if they don't, we won't. The answer when is to why we have tariffs must always be a four-letter word: jobs. Fairness is an abstraction. A job is tangible. I'd be furious with a politician who gave me higher prices just so Google shareholders could make more money, but I'll gladly sacrifice so my friends, neighbors, and colleagues will have better jobs. Everyone recognizes the value of high-paying jobs. The American economy is unfathomably large. It's the envy of the world. It's so big, the large and prosperous. We've employed billions of foreign nationals over the last 40 years. We've made hundreds of millions of Chinese, Indians, Vietnamese, Europeans, and others incredibly wealthy. Since 1978, global trade has lifted 800 million Chinese out of poverty. Good for them. Maybe the limousine liberals in the Democrat Party haven't noticed, but our own people are hurting. We need to lift our friends and neighbors out of poverty too. These aren't enough. There aren't enough good available jobs. If we can lift 800 million Chinese peasants out of poverty, then there's no excuse for leaving any Americans behind. So this isn't just make America great again. It's make Americans great again. This is about us. There's an affordability epidemic in our country. 67% of Americans now believe that home ownership is unrealistic for young people. It's gotten so bad, 73.8% of millennials are living paycheck to paycheck. Without your own home, it's really tough to raise children. Without more children, our entire system collapses. It's literally an existential threat. Unless we bring high-paying jobs back into our country as soon as possible, our children and grandchildren won't have a country left anymore because greedy, corrupt politicians gave our country away in crooked trade deals. The status quo was destroying the American dream. Millennials are now in their 40s. We're running out of time. Thank God we finally have a president who cares enough about the American people to fight back. Question, why do we need tariffs? Answer, because Americans deserve great jobs. Jobs. Keep circling back to jobs, and damn it, we'll win this thing. Good morning, Nuclear Oyster. How you doing? Just J Hip. Good to see you. I have my favorites. Wonderful to see all of you fine people. Good stuff going on this morning. Killdozerd. Oh, good to see you. Yes, Mary. Oh, yeah. We got a whole crew in here this morning. Good morning, Bingo Brute. Hello, Cynthia. But of course, we have the fear and the losing in the last communities. How and why the Bingles are terrified of themselves. No toilet paper in the shops. Luckily, there was not much food either. That's hilarious. I love that. Oh my gosh, I've got to show you guys something that was sent to me, and I can't tell you who sent it, but I want to share it with you guys because it is awesome. Let me see if I can find it really quick. And I'm gonna maybe I'll use it tonight or something like that because it's pretty awesome. Give me a second. Let me show it to you. Let's see. I'm gonna download that. Where do I have it? I think I already have it downloaded. I do. Yeah, let me see if I can zoom in on this right here. Yeah, I can. And there we go. This is gonna be cool. I have to share this with you. It says, do you suffer from anxiety attacks? Are they often caused by stupid people? Get an emotional support honey badger. And it says, unlike other companion animals that snuggle up and provide physical comfort and safe space during anxiety attacks, the emotional support honey badger instead physically attacks and savages the absolute living hell out of the stupid idiot bothering you, thus removing the source of the anxiety. Much more efficient. Ask your doctor if honey badger is right for you. Thank you. Thank you. That was awesome. That made my day. I just want to say that made my day. I was having a weird day and of course whenever I saw that come popping across my email, I just about cried. That made me laugh so hard. Pennsylvania Governor Joe Shapiro choked up last month. Well, you wonder what he choked up on. As he spoke of a filthy leftist attempt to burn down his house while he and his family slept. This type of violence is not okay, Shapiro bellowed. This type of violence has become far too common in our society, and I don't give a damn if it's coming one from a particular side or the others. Oh.
Lori and I are Lori and I are overwhelmed by the prayers and the messages of support that we've received from all across Pennsylvania and all across the United States. We've heard from our fellow governors and first spouses. We've heard from several of the former governors of Pennsylvania. We've heard from so many friends and loved ones. And we've heard from so many caring citizens of this great Commonwealth. I want you all to know that your prayers lift us up. And in this moment of darkness, we are choosing to see light. And we appreciate the light that you have shined upon us. Pennsylvania State Police, led by Colonel Christopher Paris, will brief on the specifics of what transpired. But we do know that this attack was targeted. We don't know the person's specific motive yet, but we do know a few truths. First, this type of violence is not okay.
Oh, now he's angry.
This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society.
Yep.
And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop. We have to be better than this.
Well, and now you start to get emotional about it. Do you realize that everybody's been saying this for, oh, well, hell, since Trump's first presidency, when everybody started losing their absolute mind? You have to remember that wonderful, who was it? Who was it? You know, she looks like she's talking with a mouthful of marbles. I'm trying to think what her name is. Oh my God, something about waters reminds me of like women's female products. Oh, Maxine Waters. There we go. Yeah, Maxine Waters. She said we need to confront them everywhere. Do you remember that? You remember that? and people were saying this needs to stop. This is going to get out of hand. Where were you then, Josh? What did you have to say at that point in time, or you just ignore it? Just curious. So we're going to take firearms away from all law-abiding citizens. Yeah. I pop up and become a journalist, and Shizzy won't share any dinosaur nuggies. I can't help it. I can't help it. I like to keep my nuggies to myself. Shizzy last night was absolutely fantastic. Oh yes, we did have quite a bit of fun. It was let's say very spicy. I think we left the chat a little wet. Congrats, chat. Congrats, Slug. This actually goes back to Obama. Oh, it goes back quite a bit. People have been telling him, stop. Thanks, me. Oh.
We have a responsibility to all be better.
Yeah. But why not?
Second, if this individual was trying to deter me from doing my job as your governor,
it didn't work.
Rest assured, I will find a way to work even harder.
Oh, so hard.
Than I was just yesterday for the good people of Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, I work harder.
Here's a third truth. If he was trying to terrorize our family, our friends, the Jewish community who joined us for a Passover Seder in that room last night, hear me on this. We celebrated our faith last night proudly, and in a few hours we will celebrate our second Seder of Passover again proudly. No one will deter me or my family or any Pennsylvanian from celebrating their faith openly and proudly.
All right. You have to remember, Josh Shapiro, a BLM Marxist animal, tried to burn his family to death, and Shapiro was too weak to tell the truth. The violence is coming from one side, his side, and the man didn't have the stones to call it out, even though his family was chosen to die in a horrible death. Any respect I had for Josh Shapiro is gone. Like I said, if I ever had any. He also mentioned he didn't know the motive for the arson. Well, I do. A reprobate tried to burn his family to death because that's exactly what Marxists do. Also, Shapiro is Jewish. When Muslims, a weak, easily controlled leftist, fills the street in Western cities around the world shouting, Antifada, they mean it. Islam lives to kill the Jews. Honestly, I would expect nothing less of a modern-day neo-communist, yet Shapiro just couldn't attack his side. Like communists before him, he's willing to die and watch his family burn to death before turning on his own party. Factorama, Stalin killed millions of people, including die-hard communists who maintained their support for Marxism, even as they and their families were lined up and pew-pewed. Today's communist is no different. California Governor Gavin Newsom not only refuses to call out the violence of the left, but is actually rewarding it. Newsom recently gave $200,000 anti-terrorism grant to you. Now, you got to be sitting down for this one. A mosque with ties to the 9/11 attackers and its Hamas-loving imam. Because let's face it, we pesky Westerners we're going to kill ourselves. Today, more than ever, our state stands together to support our communities, Newsom declared. Californians deserve the right to worship, love, gather safely without fear of violence, as if to suggest Muslims are somehow being victimized throughout the nation. Bullshitorama. Newsom gave $500,000 to the same mosque years earlier. Never mind that a total of 88% of the 2,916 attacks and 99% of the 14,117 deaths that resulted from the top 5 perpetrators were caused by Islamic extremist groups. Newsom also knows that his party spent the last 4 years targeting peaceful Catholics while financially supporting pro-Islam groups dedicated to exterminating the Jews. But supporting the party line is more important than saving lives, especially if the people dying are your ideological enemies. Factorama, say what you want about us Catholics. I'm not Catholic, by the way. I've never seen a nun explode. Well, was that before or after she was a nun? Today's communist is just dedicated as the Marxist Stalin ordered to be shot, like this American Air Force member who burned himself to death while shouting Free Palestine. I'm not going to show that because it's very graphic. The bromance between Islam and communism is not new, nor is it unusual, as both are dedicated to the destruction of the West. Check this out. The Bolsheviks welcomed left-wing Muslims into their ranks. As a result, approximately 15% of the Communist Party members were Muslim. In parts of Central Asia, Muslims constituted up to 70% of the membership. Bolshevik leaders issued a call for a holy war against Western imperialism. Lenin asserted that it was necessary to support Islamist movements under conditions in which they contested local ruling classes' colonial control, or both. This astonishing alliance was defended by Lenin with great vigor against those who believed that the communists should have no dealings with religious activism. He argued that it was vital to persuade such movements in the colonial world that their future lay with the workers of Europe against the imperial powers, and that a dual approach was required. Now let's talk about the Marxist animals recruit people to believe as violent and insidious as communism. Hate and fear. The communists use these two motivators to both recruit people and also keep them in line. The Operation Mockingbird media has filled people for almost 10 years now with fake news about how horrible Trump and his MAGA minions are. Fake news is a rama. When I was in New York City liberal, I was told Republicans hated everyone who was gay, poor, or black. If I sided with the Democrats, I would be a good, moral, and virtuous person. If not, I would be labeled as evil Republican and all but banished from my social circles. People who were once my friends now consider me vile insurrectionist. Related, my long January 6th nightmare is finally over, I hope. After almost a decade of negative and false stories, Trump is a rapist, Trump is a racist, Trump hates cats, Trump is a little mustachioed Austrian artist. Your typical weak, low IQ leftist believes that them have plenty of reasons to despise Trump and those who support him, and thus, and antinomian attacks on MAGA become not only acceptable but moral. It's akin to the World War II era hate training. Most leftists hate our country. Who better to explain than one of my heroes, Soviet defector Yuri Bezmenov, who explained how people can be trained to hate their own country through a process called demoralization. Exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who's demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him a concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom when the military boot crushes his balls. Then he will understand, but not before that. This is the tragedy of the situation of demoralization. The town of Hamtramck, Minnesota got a taste of this military boot of reality a few years back. Hamtramck's entire government is now Muslim. One of the first moves was to ban the gay pride flag in the middle of Pride Month from all town property. Why? Because Muslims hate gay people and frequently delete them. One liberal woman complained that she hilariously relocated to California to Hamtramck because she thought it was a diverse community. How does that military boot feel there, Sparkles? Other forms of communism, brainwashing included. Diversity is good, even when a bundle of it crashes into the World Trade Center. Speaking out against Muslim atrocities is Islamophobic. Do not believe news that contradicts the party line, i.e. Fox News is garbage. Pinkarama, the communist Islamists have rounded up all the minority groups they could sink their talons into and demoralize them against white Christians, while Muslims are quietly taking over the world. Speaking out about savagery is verboten. So the left has been taught to hate patriots. They've dehumanize us to the point where killing us is their duty. Now comes the fun part. Should the communists win? They will install draconian rules on the rest of society, to make sure those big bad MAGA types never resurface before you purple-haired chunder-in-law is finished celebrating your execution. Her will be subjected to the brutality, reality of life under communism, all of which will be for the good of society, and virtuous people will accept it or they'll die in prison. Constitutional rights will dissolve in hours. First, guns will be confiscated. Free speech will be labeled hate speech and will be made illegal. Gay people will be exterminated, and merely speaking out against the onslaught of Muslims raping your wife or daughter will get you thrown in prison for Islamophobia. If Yuri Bezmov military boot fits, wear it, Democrats, because this is what you're voting for. Morning, Connie. How you doing, Connie? Good to see you. There was a church here flying the pride flag out front for a long time. Said church was made to remove the flag. Ah, yes, you're Bezmenov. Yep. At some point we'll have to pull up some of Yuri. We just are not doing it today because Yuri is an absolute blast. Interesting way that he puts it. Lo-fi Trump and the humorless, joyless buzzkill liberals. What could this be? I really wonder who's running the social media for the White House. There have been a number of amusing takes from them, like Trump is Pope image, followed by a Trump May the 4th be with you post. And Trump admitting the Trump 2028 hats were trolling on purpose. President Trump tells Christian Weller the whole Trump 2028 gag was just to troll the media. I'm looking to have 4 great years and turn it over to somebody. A bad day for the Trump is an evil dictator crowd.
The Trump organization is selling hats that say Trump 2028.
Yeah.
Are you seriously considering a third term, Mr. President, even though it's prohibited by the Constitution? Or is this about staying politically viable?
I will say this. So many people want me to do it. I have never had requests so strong as that. But it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do. I don't know if that's constitutional that they're not allowing you to do it or anything else, but there are many people selling the 2028 hat. But this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have 4 great years and turn it over to somebody, ideally a great Republican to carry it forward. But I think we're going to have 4 years, and I think 4 years is plenty of time to do something really spectacular.
The Constitution does prohibit it. Some of your allies are pretty serious about this, though, Mr. President. I've spoken to them. They say they are coming up with potential ways. Obviously, the biggest one will be a constitutional amendment.
That's because they like the job I'm doing, and it's a compliment.
Has anyone in an official capacity presented you with, sir, here are some ideas by which you could actually get a constitutional amendment?
Well, in a capacity of being a big supporter, many people have said different things, but I'm not looking at that.
You have built a political movement that has transformed the Republican Party.
He's told her, I don't know how many times, 4 times so far? Yeah, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you constitutionally do that. Well, they'll make an amendment. I came here to do it 4 years. It should be a compliment. Well, how many times is she going to repeat the same question and get the same damn answer? He's wanting to do 4 years and move on. You realize his age at that point in time, he is not going to, well, he might want to, but he's not going to be able to. It's just not going to happen. And if it does, I doubt that people would vote for him for those next 4 years. He knows when to step aside.
Transformed the country, quite frankly.
Political movement in history, MAGA. Make America great again.
When you look to the future, Mr. President, do you think the MAGA movement can survive without you as its leader?
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah.
What gives you?
I think it's so strong.
Because the MAGA is, and everybody says it like it's a dirty word. Oh, MAGA, so dirty, so filthy. Whenever all it is just saying, I support America. I want America to become great again. I want to get back to the time when America was a free place where people were able to move from place to place without fear of being attacked for anything that they believe. don't care if someone is Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, Protestant. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're gay, they're straight. They should be able to go anywhere, do anything that affords everybody the same rights as were laid out in the first place. What's so difficult about that? Let's get back to being a great country again, being on top of our manufacturing, our job creation, a place that people want to come to, not a place that people want to run from. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to hear some of these people that have decided to up and remove themselves from this country? You say bye, because if you don't want to be any part of making America a great place to be again, then you're more than welcome to go spend your time in Europe or Spain or whatever country you want to move to. If you want America to become like a third world country, why don't you go move to a third world country and see exactly what it looks like? Why don't you go move to a country that supports full on communism or full on Muslim activity? I mean, I'm sure that there's places that you can go to and you can find out exactly how and the things that you're supporting for Palestine, for example. Why don't you just happily go over there? Go find out exactly what happens to you whenever you're there. See exactly the kind of place that you're supporting. Here's a perfect example of what you want to become. You don't have to be full on support of it. There's things you can disagree with. That's the best part about it, Mel. There's parts of it that you can disagree with because you don't believe in that. The problem is everyone has this purity test on the left and the right, and that's got to stop. It's okay to disagree with a policy that you don't agree with. There's nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't be discouraged from having those beliefs. Unlike this swat
And
waffle.
trying to start the voyage of the boat conscience towards Gaza to deliver desperately needed humanitarian aid and end the siege and open a humanitarian blockade. Right now, 2 million people are being delivered to starve.
See, she doesn't understand what's going on, yet she's happy to go run to another country. Could be unwanted over there. It's typical for these fake newscasters to keep repeating the questions, try to get an answer they want, just like the defense prosecution lawyer does. Exactly. And I'm going to stop playing this because it sounds like they have music in the background, bastards. And I don't want to have my channel removed because some moron decided to put music over the back of it. I would much rather show you things that won't get you in trouble on YouTube like this. Look at him. That dog knows what's up. That dog knows what's up. Yes. See, absolutely. The Americans first. I wish I could get more people to see things that way. Yes, and it should be more about America being on top of it. Let's continue on with this. Mm-hmm. All right.
I think we have a tremendous group of people. We talked about a number of them. You look at Marco, you look at J.D. Vance, who's fantastic. You look at, I could name 10, 15, 20 people right now just sitting here. No, I think we have a tremendous party. And you know what I can't name? I can't name one Democrat. I mean, I look at the Democrats, they're in total disarray. They have a new person named Crockett. I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. And they said, she's the future of the party. I said, you have to be kidding. I don't know what they're going to do. And I really believe in a two-party system. Because it's good to be challenged. It's really good to have a two-party. You know, it's good. Being challenged is okay. It keeps you sharp. I don't know what they're going to do. They have nobody. Bernie's 87 years old or something. And, you know, Biden is the worst thing that ever happened to old people because he was grossly incompetent. And I think maybe for artificial reasons, you know, he had operations and things. So maybe that's an artificial. But I know people that are unbelievably sharp and they're older than 87. But I watch Bernie Sanders. He's a nut job, but he's still sharp. He's sharp as he's the same guy he was. He hasn't gone down. But Biden is really, he's the worst thing to happen to old people.
I know that you are only 100 days in, but
Just, it's horrible. It's so horrible. Just gosh. She's going to ask the same question again. I can feel it coming. Are you going to run for another 4 years? Get off.
as we sit here today, who do you see as your successor, Mr. President?
Well, it's far too.
See, she just tried to reword the same question she's been asking. It's 100 days in. That's hard. What do you want from me, woman? I am not going to run for a second term. I am sure we will have someone that comes in there and takes care of it on the second. After my time is done, somebody else will come in and they will run. And hopefully we've established some good policies that they can follow along and make this country great again. Make it better than it was the day before. I mean, it's amazing to me that, you know, and it's the same way in just about any job, for example. Do you go into your job and say, I'm going to have a worse day than I had yesterday? You know, you don't want that. Why would you want that? Because if you had a really crappy day, why would you ever want to go in there and say, hey, let's make this a crappier place to work? Just for the shits and giggles of it. Like let's just, you know, I know yesterday it wasn't too bad. We only started 2 forest fires. How about today we just make it worse? We'll start 5 or 6. You know, we'll just double down on making it a shitty country. How about that? Oh, no, that's not how most people operate. They want to make things better than it was the day before. You know, find a process that makes things go a little bit smoother. Get over some policy that doesn't quite work. You know, see where you can cut the fat out of wasteful use and spending. I mean, it was always surprising to me whenever I worked for Honda, how I would come in and there would be guys that would just go, well, let's see how much work I can't do today. It's like, wow, you know, I get paid by the job, not, you know, by the hours that I put into it. That's how we were paid. So if I could take a 6-hour job and do it in 3 hours, that was better. You know, and of course you'd have those days where part wouldn't be there and you'd have to be stuck with a car in your bay waiting on a part to show up. That happens. And next thing you know, a 6-hour job turns into a 9-hour job, or it happens. But you just try to do better, try to get faster at all the processes. You know that you're going to be doing, for example, if you're going to be doing a replacement of injectors on a Honda Fit, that you order the high pressure pump for it and the hose for it, because you're going to have to replace that. That's necessary to replace, by the way. Well, you don't have to always replace the pump, but it's a good idea anyhow. These are things that you just learn, that whenever you see one of those jobs come in, you start ordering those parts ahead of time. You know, things to make your life better. And that's what Trump has been doing. Try to make it just a little bit better, make things go a little bit faster, less time being spent on red tape, more time being productive. And I think that if you can get behind that, then you're already on that train of make America great again. Doesn't mean that you're out there doing bad things to people. like the left likes to scream out, you're insurrection, or whatever it is that they might be doing. You're out there to make things better.
Early to say that, but you know, I do have a vice president, and typically it would be, and JD's doing a fantastic job.
He would be at the top of the list?
It could very well be. I don't want to get involved in that. I think he's a fantastic, brilliant guy. Marco is great. There's a lot of them that are great. I also see tremendous unity, but certainly you would say that somebody's the VP. If that person is outstanding, I guess that person would have an advantage. But I think the other people would all stay in unbelievably high positions. But, it could be that he'd be challenged by somebody. We have a lot of good people in this party.
Mm-hmm. See what he's saying? See how easily that he moves that needle back around. Oh, yeah. Enjoy your vacay. Most definitely. Most definitely. Good morning, Elka. How you doing? Good to South Africa is where she moved to. Yeah. Good morning, Sherry Nail. Good morning, everyone. Just dropping in and tell everyone, see you all next week. Going to have a blast on a cruise this week. Well, you have a good time. You have a really good time. We appreciate you coming by and enjoy that cruise. Get a little bit of sun, have some fun, go see some exotic places, get out, touch grass, or do what Bubbles does and smoke a little. Whatever your choice is, do you and have a good time doing it. Trump really does have a sense of fun as well as real talent for making his critics reveal themselves for the joyless institutions they really are. Now we get lo-fi Trump. Many of you may not know what lo-fi is. Here's my research assistant summaries. Lo-fi is short for low fidelity, is a music genre characterized by its intentionally imperfect, raw, and unpolished sound, often embracing elements like background noise, tape hiss, or vinyl crackle to create a warm, nostalgic, and relaxed vibe. Emerging from do-it-yourself music culture, particularly in the 80s and 90s, lo-fi spans genres like indie rock, hip-hop, and electronic, with artists using minimalistic production techniques such as cassette recorders or basic digital tools to prioritize authenticity and mood over pristine audio quality. Popularized further by lo-fi hip-hop, chill beats, live stream on platforms like YouTube, is often associated with studying, relaxation, or introspection, evoking a cozy, retro aesthetic that feels both personal and universally soothing. One of the early lo-fi channels from YouTube was originally called Chilled Cow, but was renamed Lo-Fi Girl, and honestly, I've been a fan from very soon after the channel opened. I'm not alone either. Lo-Fi Girl, whose real name is Jade, has over 12 million subs on YouTube, and she's actually a French music producer named Dimitri Somogai. As Grok says, lo-fi is purposely recorded in a way to sound reminiscent of music on old cheap record players. It advertises music that's good for chilling or studying, just like what Lo-Fi Girl does on her channel. Lo-fi is generally aimed at a younger audience, with an estimated audience for Lo-Fi Girl in particular being from 16 to 25 and 75% male. So on May 2nd, when the White House YouTube channel released its own lo-fi channel, the videos of an anime-style character whose real name is Donald working at a desk late at night with an American flag in the background. Donald is busily signing papers while the right hand scrolls a list of promises made, promises kept. It's reasonably plain and vaguely Asian, not hard to listen to at all. Now consider the target demographic of lo-fi. Jade's audience is 75% male, between 16 to 25. This is coincidentally the same group that was a big surprise in the election. Now my question is, who had this idea? If I had to bet, I would bet it was Barron, who we know was instrumental in Trump's embrace of podcasters and alternative media all throughout the election. Whoever had it certainly is thinking outside the box. Now, my next question is, how long before YouTube finds an excuse to take it down? Oh, yeah. Coffee ready. You got to go grab yourself a cup. Me too. That is exactly what I was thinking. So we are going to give you just a little bit of time to go grab that coffee. We'll be right back in a short.
I think you misunderstood me. I said you need to give Elmo 2 test tickles before shipping.
Ah, test tickles? I thought you said...
You like what you see, baby? Elmo's a man now.
No cream. Wake up slow, take a sip. Shizzy's got 'em losing their grip. News so dumb, what can you do? Laugh it off, let daddy guide you. You know Papa don't flinch, don't blink. Ooh, baby, he's sharper than you think. Morning whiz, take it in. Shizzy's got the world on spin. choir. Oh no, they tried to fight. Now they're howling through the night. They poke, they scratch, they beg, they plead, but Shizzy's dancing while they bleed. Pour it black, keep it light. Shizzy's teasing you right. Morning whiz, taste the show. Sip it slow, let it glow. Trolls are crying, the game is set. Ooh, baby, they ain't seen nothing yet. Now that's the morning sugar. The coffee's hot, the takes are hotter. And Shizzy Daddy, oh, he's just getting started.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it whenever a plan comes together. Good idea on having a little bit of coffee. Well, ignore the commie fake news clowns. Trump had a great week. This by Kevin Downey Jr. For the dozens of Americans still getting their news from the Operation Mockingbird media myrmidons, it would appear that as though Trump's presidency is going down like the Andrea Doria. Rather than list all of Trump's latest victories, I will post some Bolshevik headlines and mock them accordingly. The first clown slapping goes to the mentally belly-flop journalist at Vox who penned this headline. Is anything Trump's doing still popular? Funny you should ask. A Pew poll found a whopping 83% of Americans supporting all or some of the 10 million bundles of diversity Joe Biden allowed into our nation. Of those who wanted some of our replacements set to the cornfield, 97% approved of deporting illegal immigrants who commit violent crimes, like the newest hero of the Democrats, Kilmar Garcia, known member of MS-13, who his wife claims has beaten her and even bragged he could get her deleted and get away with it. And it might also just be a human trafficker.
Every day, another shoe drops on the Maryland dad. He was a suspect in a human trafficking operation dating back 3 years. And Fox Digital just got their hands on the body cam. But you're seeing it here first. Tennessee Highway Patrol stopped Kilmar for speeding and noticed he had 8 other people in the car. All no luggage. Take a look.
Hello, sir. How are you? Good, and you? All right. Everything good? You got a bunch of people in here, don't you? It's 1 for sick. Yes. Go back to work. Gotcha. Where are you working at? Where? Where? St. Louis, Missouri. Missouri? Yes, sir. Gotcha. Okay. But I'm from to Maryland. So where do y'all live at? Where I live? I live in Maryland. Maryland? Yeah, also. Whose vehicle is it? What, whose car is it? It's to my boss. Your boss? In 2016. Yeah. Where's he live? Where's your boss live? My boss right now is staying in Maryland, but we live in Texas, in Houston, Texas.
After talking to Kilmar, the officers had no doubt he was trafficking.
You know what you got here, right? No. He's hauling these people for money. You got an ass hauler, is what he's doing. Sometimes they commingle dope. No. What? There's 8 people in there. Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there. Yeah. So he's getting paid to all these people, probably to Maryland, I would say, if I had my guess.
He said they all work together. That's what he's telling me, but he's the only one that knows how English.
So let me ask you this. They don't have any luggage in there, right? And if you get them out, they're going to have a toothpaste and they're going to have toothbrushes in their pockets, I guarantee it.
He's got $1,400 cash in his pocket in an envelope.
In the video, you can see one of the cops making a phone call. The body cam audio cuts out for 10 minutes. Sources told us that on that call was Joe Biden's FBI, which advised police not to detain Kilmar at the time. That source also tells us Highway Patrol called Biden's ICE, and they never showed up. Biden's guys said an MS-13 gangster, suspected human smuggler and wife beater, released into the country. God knows what he did and was never caught for before Trump deported him. Primetime will keep digging and keep you posted when we find more.
Factorama MS-13 is a designated foreign terrorist organization. The silver lining here is she is likely to abort anything growing in her communist womb, thus saving we the people from having to deal with yet another not saying. I'm guessing the 1,777 people who found jobs in April, more than were anticipated, find earning a paycheck to be popular. It appears Trump's impression of a trans dudette beating a woman's weightlifting record was pretty popular with a graduating class of the University of Alabama. Yeah.
I've never seen before. But the greatest is like weightlifting. You ever see the weightlifting? Where they have a record that wasn't broken in 18 years? And they have, should I imitate it? You know, my wife gets very upset when I do this. She said, darling, it's not presidential. I said, yeah, but people like it. Should I do it or not? All right, I'm in trouble when I get home, but that's okay. What the hell? I've been in lots of trouble before. But no, you look at the weightlifting where 18 years it stands, and they have this young woman, and her parents are right where you are in the front row, and they're so proud of her, and it's like 209 pounds, and she's going to lift that. The record stood for 18, think of it, 18 years, and they put 1/8 of an ounce here, and 1/8 of an ounce here, little tiny little bit, and she's going to do it. Mom, I love you. I'm going to do it for you, Mom. And she goes, and she lifts, and she gets it, and Mom, I'm going to do it, Mom. Can't do it. And then a guy comes along, or a gal, or whatever. A transitioned person comes along. And he was a failed weightlifter as a man, but he comes along, 206 pounds. They put the little thing on, and he goes, boom, boom. And breaks the record like by 119 pounds. That's not right.
No, it's not right. Speaking of popular, recent polls show 64% of Mariners side with Trump, not their woke governor. They don't want men in ponytails competing against the women's. Vox then doubled down on their mental darkness by posting this headline as well. Trump is losing. Is Trump losing? Judging by this Daily Mail headline, Trump doesn't think so. Trump roars, we are winning as Wall Street soars and trillions flood back into the U.S. economy after jobs report. Milberg Penny Bags Orama. I bought a whopping 4 shares of Tesla. Don't be jelly. On March 18th for $229 per share. As of Friday, March 2nd, Tesla stock is selling for $289 per share. Ching. Much to the chagrin of the blue-haired Gorgons wiping their booties onto Teslas, Trump beat job growth expectations for the second consecutive month, and the Dow Jones sprouted almost 1,100 points in the last 5 days. If he's losing, I'll take another helping. And here's a sock dog alert from the burning wreck at MSNBC. I'm a Jew. I am a woman. To Trump, I am the wrong kind of both and not worth protecting. Well, check out this laughable piece of journalistic peculance as it both regurgitates the party line while percolating the usual worn-out, ragged victimhood. But despite being a Jew and a woman, these incentives will not protect me. Indeed, I am among the targets because I am the wrong kind of Jew and the wrong kind of woman. My interpretation of Judaism demands justice for the slaughtered thousands in Gaza, and my assigned gender was not female. In fact, the regime has issued all these orders to particularly unilaterally answer two largely unanswerable questions. Who is a Jew and what is a woman? In ways that serve their particular aims, and the particular aims include abuse and demonization of the inconvenient Jews and the inconvenient ones, and the ones who aren't willing to have their identities defined by cisgender or cisgender men. Oh, holy agardrop. I mean, let's see how many Democrats' talking points this hilarious and yet rancid pile of ambergris contains. Victimhood, check. Trans mama nonsense, check. Gaza uber allahs, check. Orange man bad, check. I'm sure this article would do well with Gaza transgender anti-Semitic Jewish community, but something tells me that they're not all alive anymore. The test-phobic author seems to forget how someone that Gaza started the latest round of Palestinian-Israeli warfare. Also, when the shooting is over, Israelis and Gazans will stop dying, even the trans ones. The bottom line here is Trump is killing it, and the left is wetting its non-binary underpanties. Communism cannot be installed in a country where people are happy and prosperous. And thus, activists, judges will continue to throw up roadblocks. Useful idiots will continue their Tesla fraudage. And her astute, razor-dodging, undateable cat lady-in-law will do everything they, them can to ruin your upcoming summer weekend family fun. So plan accordingly. Remember, the last thing the communists want is for America to thrive and for we, the people, to wake up and realize that almost every politician since Ronald Reagan has been a sham, especially every miscreant in the Biden administration. Articles about Trump phantom failures will continue to be printed, and the propaganda will broadcast until one side wins. And I can promise you, victory will be ours. I'm just me here, and I don't have any person to cook for me. Aw. I cook for my wife. It's pretty awesome. Well, I cook for me too, and most of the time she cooks her own vegetables because I'm doing the meat these next few months, trying to get in a better on a better diet. AOC was heckled for what? Oh my gosh, what? Even the New York Times has touted Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, would you like an olive, as the Democrats' great hope for 2028, but AOC's presidential train may be stalling at the station, as if it ever even made it there. On Friday, the great ditzy hope held a town hall in Jackson Heights, Queens, that quickly descended into chaos as the future of the Democrat Party faced harsh heckling, but not as you might think, for pushing the multiply failed and inhuman policy of socialism upon the American people, or for leading the sky is falling hysteria against the Trump administration for trying to get rid of the federal government of waste and fraud. No, AOC was heckled for failing to stop genocide in Gaza. This is a doubly absurd because the far left congresswoman is no friend to Israel, dutifully falling into leftist lockstep and criticizing the Jewish state even before she could articulate even one reason why. The heckling is even crazier because in March of 24, AOC declared on the House floor, "As we speak at this moment, 1.1 million innocents in Gaza are at famine's door. A famine that is being intentionally precipitated through the blocking of food and global humanitarian assistance by leaders in the Israeli government. If you don't want to know what an unfolding genocide looks like, open your eyes." Oh, and there's another thing that adds to the howling absurdity of the moment. There's no genocide in Gaza. Leftists and Palestinian propagandists routinely claim that Israel has been committing genocide against the Palestinians ever since the founding of the modern state of Israel. Yet, according to World Population Review, Gaza's 2025 population is now estimated at 823,407. In 1950, 2 years after the founding of the modern state of Israel, the population in Gaza was 63,444. It's an extremely inept genocide. And if you think that the genocide began in the aftermath of the Hamas massacre, 1,200 Israelis on October 7th, 2023. Note also that Gaza has grown by 22,771 in the last year, which represents a 2.84 annual change. A genocide in which the overall population has grown is no genocide at all. The facts, however, don't matter to the far left. And so AOC's town hall, woman stood up and screamed, "I'm a healthcare worker and I want to know what you're doing about the genocide in Gaza." Let's just see.
Very hard to defend and I want to know what you're doing about the genocide in Gaza.
AOC, according to the News Post, was unable to control the quickly escalating situation as the heckler continued to scream at her, "Shame on you. Shame on you." It was a home crowd for AOC, however, and so other leftists in the crowd was beginning shouting to drown out the heckler. One of the imaginatively started screaming, "Shame." That's telling her. Meanwhile, as the heckler was being escorted out of the event, she kept on screaming and probably telling the flabbergasted AOC, "You're a war criminal, war criminal." And the unkindest cut of all, she added, "Shame on you. I used to support you." Once the heckler was safely removed, AOC went into full prim school marm mode, saying, "I more than welcome people who disagree who are super pissed off at me for any issue to come. But we have some ground rules here. So please wait for the Q&A because we don't want to deprive all of our neighbors of the ability to have information and hearing them to respond to it. We need to be able to have this conversation. Please wait for the Q&A. We don't want to deprive all of our neighbors of the ability to have information and hearing them respond to it." What? She's a 5th grade teacher now? The heckler didn't come to ask a question. She came to denounce AOC for not saying something that the Congresswoman actually said over a year ago. And so here we have the Democrat Party of 2025, leaderless, uncivil, and locked in a web of fantasies and delusions that seems to lack either the desire or the will to break through. What the attendees at AOC's town hall on Friday night saw was the featured speaker being denounced for doing nothing, something she actually did. That is, AOC was called a war criminal for supposedly failing to stand against something that isn't actually happening when she did actually stand against it. Could all the Democrat Party get any more absurd? Sure. Grab some popcorn, because we've got more. This one's even better. I saw this story and I was like, this can't be true. And this happened on the weekend. So this came from Lincoln Brown, weekend parting shop. Woman who fled ISIS for Ghana, ready to come home. Happy Friday, gentle readers. I pray this missive finds you well. Apparently it was May Day yesterday. I was too busy actually working to keep up with my reactionary a day calendar and totally missed the chance to participate in the untying, uprising, and tantrum throwing that has come to mark an annual day that nobody pays not much attention to. It's just as well my Shock of Era t-shirt is in the garage anyway. I use it to check the oil on the lawnmower. The grass is always greener on the other side of the ocean, as you're well aware. The advent of Trump 2.0 heralded the onset of oceans turning to blood and the entropy of the universe. And then, of course, the resurgence of all those historical landmarks of American life up to and including capitalism, racism, sexism, colonialism, transphobia, homophobia, Islamophobia, and general imposition of the military patriarchy, designed to deprive women of shoes and monitor their fertility cycles while they make never-ending supply of tuna casseroles. Tuna casserole. If you don't believe me, head over to your local college and ask the first FIFA students you meet. As usual, people up to the stakes and moving somewhere else, and one woman, not Rosie O'Donnell, did. She decamped to Ghana to escape racism. However, after spending time on ancestral soil, she was more than ready to return to the racist United States. Her reasons include bribery, fraud, scams, high prices, no hot water, undependable electricity, lack of food, no snacks, lizards, spiders, scorpions, chickens, ducks, turkey, sheep, and old malnourished cows outside her window. She's ready to return to the States and open a dental office. You can watch her testimony below, but she warned she may have set a record for the number of times bullshit and F-bombs were used in a span of 2 minutes. So hide your children's ears, because this is about to get crazy.
But y'all, I'd rather go back to America and deal with the racism in America before I sit here in Africa and deal with the bullshit bribery, the bullshit fraud, the bullshit scams, the bullshit too expensive, the bullshit not having no snacks, the bullshit not having no food, the bullshit electricity, the bullshit hot water, the bullshit, what's that shit called that be coming down? The bullshit animals, it's scorpions outside the house, it's big ass spiders, it's big ass lizards, colorful lizards you ain't never seen before, all in the fucking room with you, sleeping with you, all the bullshit people trying to scam you when you go outside thinking you rich, so they trying to get more money off of you. I'm really trying to wrap my head around this shit. I'm really trying to wrap my head around how are Americans coming to Africa and being happy. Please comment down below, because for me, I'm ready to go. And I always used to say, if it's up to me, it will be. And I'm going to go out to Africa and make shit happen. No, I don't want to. I want to take my businesses back to America. I want to open up shop back in America, open up my dentist office, and all the stuff that I was going to do out here in America. Steady electricity. And the only time our electricity get cut off is when we don't pay the bill. Now we got it so good now, we got prepaid electricity, so if we forget to pay the bill, we put some money on that prepaid thing and it comes right back on in 2 minutes. In less than 2 minutes. This shit right here didn't come on for 14 hours yesterday. I can't deal. I love the people. Don't get me wrong. When I'm outside, I'm having fun. I love the people. But when I come back to reality, when you come back home, home is where the heart is, right? When you come back home, you're supposed to feel comfortable. You're supposed to be happy. I'm not happy. To live in a house where you look outside and all you see is turkeys and ducks and chickens and sheeps and old.
She's sweetheart. Oh, reality steps in and kicks her right in the in her fat head. It's just like, oh my God. They love her, keep her fed for future dinner plans. There's no snacks. Oh my God. I lost 50 pounds my first week in Africa because there were no snacks. Oh my God. Oh my God. Woman. now, now you have to understand what 90% of America is, sweetheart. 90% of America is you wake up in the morning, you have goats or cows or turkeys or ducks sitting outside in your farm, and you have to get up in the morning and feed them. And feeding them takes money. Yeah. And why do we feed them? So they can lay eggs or provide us with meat or sustenance. We do have farmers out there. It's amazing that Africa is a little bit more must be a city gal. Exactly. Exactly. She's rich in a house, not a hut, with no doors and windows. Exactly. I have no electricity, but I found time to upload this onto YouTube. Sweetheart, you're not suffering. You just haven't got used to society in a different country. Oh my God.
Malnourished cows.
Malnourished cows like you. According to one ex user, she still hates the United States and reportedly has animus towards white people, but dislikes living in Ghana so much that she'll put up with America. Something tells me MAGA hat added to her welcome home basket won't go over that well. There's just no pleasing some people. At least she can open her dental practice without lizards in the waiting room. It's all about the silver lining, Here's a wine recommendation. Because of my electricity and water work, I have snacks and chickens outside my window belong to me. This week, I offer you Semel Lindsay, California Pinot. And it's not that expensive. Good job, Lincoln Brown. I will go check that out. It might be some pretty interesting wine that I can get for my wife. Where is it from? That's the curious question. Well, it says it's California. See, my wife, amazing enough, she only likes Willamette Valley Pinots. Weird. The others, she's like, they're okay, but if you give her Willamette Pinot, she likes those. Pretty easy. Well, our exchange rate is unreal. Well, more money is pouring out of the treasury, but who is receiving it? Elon Musk department, or Doge, is promised to uncover government waste and fraud, and wow, its latest discovery out of the Treasury Department could be the most egregious example of it yet. Doge has found a black hole within the federal bureaucracy. Massive amounts of money are pouring out, but no one seems to know whom this money is going or what, if anything, is being received in return. Yes, the Treasury Department, which far-left judges fought so hard to keep Doge from investigating. Could it be that some individual or group in the Treasury Department has something to hide? Well, it sure looks that way. There's the usual waste and madness that Doge has already uncovered elsewhere inside the government bureaucracy, but notably in USAID. On Thursday, Doge announced on X over the last 2 days, agency terminated 401 wasteful contracts with a ceiling value of $2.1 billion and a savings of $613 million, including a $276,000 Treasury contract for a Kenya program coordinator and a $228,000 Treasury contract for Kenya, Uganda, Mumbai, and Tanzania cruiser vehicles. a 24,000 DHS contract for 2-day training on equal opportunity in employment, and a 15,000 DHS contract for out and equal workplace advocates, and a $5.9 million contract for environmental consulting support services. Inside the Treasury Department, however, Doge has discovered something even worse than all of that and considerably stranger. Fox News reported Friday that Edward Korestein, the notorious 19-year-old Doge staffer who bears the nickname that drove the entire blue-haired men who think they're women community into paroxysms of proper moral indignation, Big Balls explains some of the latest Doge discoveries. Korestein, according to Fox, said that he's been looking through U.S. Department payment computers and finding multiple of outgoing payments from the federal government that include no details about who they're going to and why. He explained, so some of our initiative is to root out fraud and waste, and to do that, we started looking at the payment computers. And as mentioned earlier, there's no accounting of what payments actually go to into the payment computer. Those are not trifle amounts either, Korestein added. You look at a specific line item, 20 million, you're like, okay, what's that money going to? And for the majority of the payment systems, it's like, well, we don't really know. But someone knows, and someone is pocketing the money. Nevertheless, Korestein says the system that distributes government or taxpayer money literally has no checks or accountability to the actual American taxpayer, so it's a huge vector for fraud, waste, and abuse. Yes, it is. And this follows soon after Doge's discovery at the beginning of the week that hundreds of millions of dollars in improper payment requests were identified after the Treasury went live with its first automatic payment system last week. A cool 334 million in improper payment requests came in and were flagged because of missing budget codes, invalid budget codes, or budget codes without authorization. Korestein offered no speculation as to who might be collecting all this money, but whoever is getting it, we already know which side of the political fence they're on. The New York Times let the cat out of the bag in a puff piece about AOC in late March when it lamented Trump's efforts to eliminate government waste and fraud, and added ingenuously, Democrats find their legal and fundraising institutions under attack from the Trump administration. It looks as if the government waste and fraud that Trump and Musk have vowed to cut has been funding the left. Well, maybe Doge is coming closer to the actual mechanism by which members of the House of Representatives can become multimillionaires on a $174,000 annual salary. It looks as if Doge is eliciting so much outrage from the leftists because it's getting even closer to the heart of the system, of which they've been living for quite some time. In any case, the receipts of this Treasury money need to be found, publicly identified, and prosecuted where appropriate. Patriots can only hope that the far-left judges don't succeed in derailing Doge's operations before all the rocks, or at least a significant number of them, are overturned. I don't have a sticker yet. Oh my gosh, don't have a sticker. Well, Jacob, well, let's see if we can fix that there sticker and get it all slapped up on there, because, you know, it's so bad that you didn't get a sticker. How about this? How about this? You just... Squeeze my heart. What, Jacob? There you go. Here's a wonderful sticker for you, Jacob. We'll get you fixed right up right there. There you go. There's a little red sticker. It's a red sticker. It's so beautiful, just for you, Jacob. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate you. Oh, what the big ball? Who's Harry Balls? Doge. Have a fabulous day, everyone. It's time to get some sleep. Much respect and love you all. Good morning, Shizzy in chat. Chloe testified today in the Karen Reed trial, but I bit him. Jacob. Well, thank you. You're welcome. Jacob. Good to see you. Well, I'm coming close on having to shut this one down for the day, but the morning briefing is from, of course, Kevin Downey Jr. Morning briefing. Dear Democrats, we the people have had enough of your illegal immigrant violence. Dear cruiser musers, I assume you are heroes. Okay, you will return on Wednesday. Started, Jay. I'm not giving your star to Jay. You have well earned that star. Iman, you giving it away so easy to Jay. You should give it so easily to Jay. There you go. There it is. You should give up so easily like that. Jay doesn't deserve it. It does not deserve it at all. Thank you, though, Mel. I appreciate you. Thank you, Mel. Warning. Any rumors of him joining the witness protection program are baseless. That said, if you see him hoisting IPAs with Henry Hill, please notify PJ Media Stat. Warning is early and I'm already wildly over-caffeinated. I'm sick of the leftist stains lecturing me about due process for illegal immigration gangbangers who are part of designated terrorist groups. Just shut up. You communists need to stop bending your weak knees to the Islamo commies who are here to exterminate the Sitchos and bring down Western society like this puddle of inadequacy. This animal was sent here to delete the Jews, bringing down Western civilization. Your purple-haired chunder in laws on his side. I can't imagine being so weak and easily controlled that I'd ever side with animals sent here to grape, murder, and conquer us. Sure, the globalists have thus far been successfully doing that in Western Europe. I know you leftoids have been trained to ignore the savagery of Islam as well as that of our replacements that Joe Biden allowed in. And merely mentioning certain facts would make your a pale colonizer brain melt from white guilt. But everything you're about to read is true. We are under attack, and you Democrats are helping the bad guys. And for you trembly quishlings who think that illegal immigration is the problem, I gather some inconvenient truths that you can't deny. This bundle of diversity invited two brothers to play hide and seek, then brutally raped one of them. This is only one of seven illegal immigrant gangbangers who kidnapped, robbed, and assaulted a 15-year-old on Long Island. This animal spent our tax dollars to buy booze, get on New York City subway, and burn a woman to death. A transgendered sanctuary series raped a 14-year-old boy. Rachel Morin and Kayla Hamilton were raped and murdered by El Salvadorian illegals. Laken Riley was murdered but not raped by a gangbanger as well. New York arrested 3,219 illegals and a total of 4,888 four times, all of whom were living in free shelters. 3 girls, one of them only 11 years old, was allegedly kidnapped, tortured, and raped by illegal gang members in Minnesota. Here are 6 more thugs arrested for grape and child sex crimes, another murderer, and another. The asylum seeker killed a New York family of 4. Not to be outdone, another animal killed a family of 5, including an 8-year-old, after they asked him to stop firing his AR-15 into the air. And then somebody else killed 1 person. Ghouls Night Out Arama, one illegal living in New York for free, decided he needed even more out of Americans and spent 30 minutes raping a man who had died on the subway. The Democrat policy might keep ICE from deporting him. Now let's talk about the fiends who grape girls and boys. One weary traveler raped and murdered several boys, and who says a 70-year-old can't grape a child. I know this list is exhaustive and perhaps not the only way you wanted to start your week, but nothing steams my clams more than liberals like ABC's Terry Moron, who told Donald Trump that illegal immigrants killed like 2 people.
This is an ABC News special from inside.
Illegal immigrants are assaulting, raping, and murdering Americans at staggering rates, and the lefty media is lying about it. I never met a good person with a full face of tattoos. I don't know. I can't think I've ever met a person with a full face of tattoos even. Even worse, 3 judges have thus far been busted aiding and abetting this miscreants. Another Marxist judge released a Haitian non-citizen on a $500 bond after he allegedly raped a 15-year-old disabled girl. Our legal system is every bit as compromised as the media. The good news is not lost. Check out the 8-year-old patriot Mateo, or Mateo as he tells it like it is, on Real American Voice Views Hit News live show from Studio 6B. Well, and I'm not going to show that because it'll probably get me in all kinds of trouble. Sorry, I just couldn't help it. There's so much craziness out there. But listen to this. There's good news. Trump just got a game-changing legal victory. When President Trump returned to the White House, he didn't just go to work cleaning up Joe Biden's mess. He sets his sights on dismantling decades of entrenched bureaucratic bloat, waste, and corruption with a relentless series of executive orders and policy derivatives. Trump reignited his mission to drain the swamp, this time with laser precision and zero patience for the status quo. Predictably, the left went into full-blown panic mode. Liberal groups immediately launched a barrage of lawsuits, cherry-picked friendly courts, and shameless attempts to stall Trump's agenda. They're terrified of losing control over the bloated regulatory state they've used for years to push policies they could never pass through Congress. But that strategy just hit a major roadblock in a landmark ruling on Saturday. The D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals handed the Trump administration a decisive legal victory, one that could fundamentally change how activist judges and forum-shopped cases interfere with executive authority. Well, this is a huge victory for President Trump, as his Article 2 powers grant him the United States Constitution is a victory for U.S. agency, global media, or USAGM, and Avoya. Carrie Lake told Fox News Digital, Lake now serves as USAGM senior advisor to the Trump administration. We're eager to accomplish President Trump's America First agenda, which has always been to modernize and make our government efficient while cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. The appeals court 2-1 ruling Saturday emphasized the judiciary's deference to executive authority in matters concerning federal employment and contractual decisions. The court noted that the district court is likely lacked jurisdiction to interfere with the administration's personnel actions and funding decisions, particularly regarding grant agreements with non-federal entities like Radio Free Asia and Middle East Broadcasting Networks. This ruling Trump's March 14th executive order, which aimed to dismantle USAGM operations. The ruling effectively reins in our district courts that have been sidestepping proper jurisdictional channels in cases challenging Trump administration actions. This decision serves a clear reminder that courts themselves must operate within their prescribed legal boundaries. According to Margot Cleveland, senior legal correspondent for the Federalist, the D.C. Circuit Court's ruling hinges on critical point jurisdiction, which has sweeping implications. As Cleveland explains, many of the legal challenges being hurled at the Trump administration involve employment decisions, precisely the kind of disputes Congress has explicitly said federal district courts have no authority to adjudicate. The court's decision also strikes at the heart of a broader legal strategy being used by leftist groups to stymie Trump's reforms. I love coffee in the morning. It just makes me feel so good. The significance of this decision extends far beyond these specific cases. It establishes clear jurisdictional parameters that could affect dozens of pending lawsuits against Trump administration policies. While the administration won't prevail in every case, this ruling suggests courts may need to more carefully consider their jurisdictional authority before issuing sweeping injunctions against executive actions. That would be nice to see. And imagine that you are an ant and this is what you see. I know some of you might like this, maybe a little too much. If you were an ant, would you freak out at seeing this? I think if I were an ant, I might freak out a little bit. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But I do have a couple more things to show you. This one is a really interesting one.
Remember this.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century.
You wouldn't believe that looking at the media today, though. They act like Trump is the worst, most evil person ever for deporting illegal alien criminals. Yet Obama, Bill Clinton, and other Democrats were all on board with this for years up until Trump, and they're on tape saying so.
Committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked, they're gone.
Public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens.
We use phrases like undocumented workers. We convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration.
Oh, really?
We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked.
We will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace.
This is your reminder that Obama deported 5.3 million people and Bill Clinton deported 12.3 million. They were fine with it then. Why the sudden change of heart?
Why the sudden change of heart? Why would you have such an idea of deporting illegals? Well, maybe this lady has the answer. You guys tell me, or you ladies tell me. Does it look like this lady right here has the answer? I bet she does. I bet she does. Oh my gosh. I'm going to become an illegal just for the benefits. There could be some benefits to it. There could be some great benefits to it. What exactly is this? Well, this is coming to the end of the day. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful week. I have so much to go over this week. Yeah. If you didn't, make sure you go check out Doug's stream from Saturday. It was quite informative. Doug and I had a little bit of a conversation earlier in the week about some of that stuff that was happening. It's crazy. It's crazy but true. And there's nothing like showing the receipts on all of it. And it is going to get crazy this week. Just so you know, it is going to be one of those weeks that you want to be paying close attention to all that is going on, because whenever it finally starts dropping, all of this information starts dropping right in your lap, you're going to, you might be shaking your head at some point going, where does the rabbit hole stop? And I will tell you, it goes much deeper than you can imagine. It goes pretty deep. And it's going to be, give it to us, show us. Oh, been loving all the letters you've done. Well, thank you so much. I try to keep it a little bit light and have a little bit of fun. Yes, I did see that. BBB is attacking Larry Foreman. Oh, and before you get all up in a tizzy, trust me, Larry is pretty well in control of what he does. Will we be quashing egos? Well, we might be just using a nice little boot to just give him a little trample here and there, a nice little stampeding on the side, just for shits and giggles. But this year is probably going to be one of the craziest years. It's gotten so crazy. My intention was to do a daily recap of what's going on with the Karen Reed stuff. But unbelievably, I haven't been able to do the weekly as much without just causing great and serious exhaustion on my part, because I have to watch the whole damn thing every single day and then write something about it. So I'm changing that up, where I'm just going to do a weekly recap of what happened throughout the week, make that a little bit easier on me, and then probably put those out like on Friday, which will be just one big long stream of unconscious thought, and just sort of breaking down, the highlights of the Karen Reed portion of it, because it is so much, there's so much information there, and doing it daily usually just takes me probably about 2 hours of time that I just don't have. So I'm going to probably break it down into a readings in the Tommy John voice, bro. It's okay, man. It's all right. That would be fun to watch. Larry versus Bruce. Yeah, Bruce would lose really bad. There's so much Commonwealth BS in the Karen Reed trial. Exactly. There has been so much BS, and it's hard. Chloe, bit Jen. Poor dog couldn't get the taste out of her mouth. Oh, that's so bad. No, but I will be probably just doing a weekly recap. Like I said, I am so busy. And Nuclear Oyster, let me get you that right there. Readings, man, in the like the Tommy Chong voice, man. It's all right. He's not here, man. He's not here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Nuclear Oyster for the $2 super chat. That is glorious. And we will have more as the week goes on. Also my wife is going to be out of town like for quite a bit of the next few days. I think she's here this week. Well, part of this week, and then she's heading out of town. So, which, normally we sort of split the duties on taking care of the puppies. I take care of them in the morning. She takes care of them in the evening. And now I'm going to have to like reschedule like just my streaming stuff. We'll probably keep the same stuff, but they may be just, yeah, it's just been a weird week. And then the hope is to have a lot of stuff set up for you for while I'm out of town, because I'm going to be out of town for just a short period of time, just a little bit over a week, But I have some 3D world stuff that has to be handled and taken care of, and that'll be like later in the month. But my hope is to have enough content put up for all you fine people that you won't even miss me, except in the mornings. I don't know if I'll be able to do a stream in the mornings. If I do, it'll be pretty much live, and I'll be walking around in a pair of shorts. Yeah, no pants, of course, and enjoying a beautiful morning, probably just catching everybody up on what happened the night before. So that'll be later on this month. Like I said, I've got a lot of stuff going on in 3D world that's taking up time. And I know that everybody has said, where's Yamaha? And I keep telling them, something about Africa or the North Pole, I forget, is Fuzzy Handcuffs making something like that. But not to worry, those are probably exaggerated, but mostly true stories. So hopefully will I get stickers while you're gone? Probably not. I probably won't be able to do any stickers while you're gone, because I won't even be taking my safety gear with me. Like I said, it is going to be 3D world working trip kind of thing, where I'm going to be very, very, very busy. And I won't have time to really sit down and do a lot of what I normally do throughout the week, because I will be my more hands-on throughout the week. But that'll be later this month, and hopefully, I can feed you guys some of the latest information in shorter snippets. If not, I'll just have some wonderful letters that I'll read live and upload them later. We'll see. I don't know how I'm going to work that out, but I'm sure I will. Yes, reality 3D world sucks. He's engaged with group activities with the sexually liberated elves. That would be funny. That would be funny. I would not be surprised that he is. I mean, I hear that elves are really crunchy whenever you put them in the air fryer, but that's all I know. I don't know anything more than that. Everybody have a wonderful day, and I shall see you this evening with some very interesting content. Everybody have a wonderful day, and I will see you very soon. And by the way, go say hi to Mo. She's absolutely wonderful. Show her some love. See you guys soon.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.